Digimon, Digital Monsters, a multimedia franchise spanning over 25 years, well known as a children's anime icon, or better yet, Pokemon's greatest and most ambitious competitor. Although to most, Digimon seems like a bargain imitation of its more admired counterpart. But why is it that Pokemon is still soaring and bathing in its popularity while comparatively Digimon just couldn't catch on as well in the public eye? Could Digimon topple Pokemon? No. As much as us Digimon fans would like that, that's not gonna happen. Mostly due to the sheer size of Pokemon. So realistically, the question is more so, could Digimon become the same kind of moneymaker that Pokemon is for Namco Bandai? Which I don't think it could if you want my honesty. Anyways, for those who don't know or are unaware of what Digimon is, contrary to popular belief, Digimon is not an attempt to siphon off Pokemon's success by cheaply recreating a franchise.
But Digimon came out in 1997 and Pokemon came out in 1996.
That's a legitimate coincidence, shut up. Like Coco in the Book of Life. Digimon's origins finds itself as a male version of Tamagotchi. Tamagotchis were those little computer pet things from the 2000s that would endlessly cry and make, for lack of a better word for a YouTube video, chocolate cake. These mainly Tamagotchis were popular enough to warrant a 54-episode long anime series alongside a TCG, action figures, and video games. While technically speaking, Digimon was already a video game if you count Tamagotchis as a video game, you may be asking yourself, then why didn't it catch on as well as Pokemon? Actually, I don't think anyone asked that, but I'll give the answer anyways. It just came out at the worst time possible. Digimon came out in the late 90s at the height of what is now known as Pokemania. Pokemon was a pop culture phenomenon, just like how Power Rangers was a few years earlier in the early 90s. So Digimon just kinda couldn't compete. While comparisons are unavoidable between franchise to franchise, our digital monsters were anything but champions. Pokemon fans and non-fans alike who learn about the series in question will refer to it usually as an off-brand Pokemon. Literally any Digimon fan would tell you otherwise, might I add. There's a variety of differences between the two franchises, and it's even arguable that Pokemon took things from Digimon if you want my honesty. Okay, side tangent. I hope this doesn't take too much time of the video. People that say Digimon is a ripoff of Pokemon really annoy me genuinely. Like,
Agumon is such a ripoff of Charmander.
first off, Charmander is a salamander and Agumon is a T-Rex. Second off, fire-breathing lizards have existed throughout human folklore forever. Like, do Pokemon fans not realize that things exist? Like, I don't know, cats or rabbits? Or how about things from folklore in general, such as Tanukis or Cubies? Rip off. They're inspired by the exact same thing. Another thing that annoys me is when people say,
Digimon is so unoriginal. They couldn't think of anything unique. They just copied fusion for Dragon Ball.
why is Dragon Ball the only one allowed to have fusion? Speaking of Dragon Ball, I hate when people say,
Oh, Naruto, Luffy, Ichigo are just cheap knockoffs of Goku.
they aren't cheap knockoffs, they're inspired by Goku. Plus, by that logic, wouldn't that just make Goku a cheap imitation of Superman? Come on, look at it. An alien from an asteroid planet who crash lands on Earth is the presumed sole survivor of their species who's best friends with a seemingly normal human being who goes on multiple adventures as a teenager and later meets more dangerous threats as an adult who also having these space pieces. That's literally just Japanese Superman! But no one bats an eye at Goku, now do they? It's arguable that they might not even be the first of said category, but definitely the most influential. For clarification, I'm not saying that Dragon Ball and Pokemon aren't influenced by the genre they created. I'm just saying everything is inspired by something. There's never anything truly 100% original. Again, believe it or not, Dragon Ball is inspired by Superman and Jimmy of the West, while Pokemon is inspired by Japanese beetle wrestling and gashapon machines. Rant over. Anyways, the second reason why I think Digimon ultimately didn't really catch on was ever-changing gimmicks and concepts. Or better yet, Digimon simply lacks a sense of identity. While in Pokemon they simply just added stuff to what already worked, such as genders, new types, mega evolutions, and regional variants, it's still functionally the same. Pokemon kept its tradition up. Even when Pokemon flipped the script, altered their gameplay style, and broke away from tradition, the masses still pay attention and love it for the sole reason of Pokemon had a concrete idea of who they wanted to be and be for. People like a sense of familiarity. Digimon, on the other hand, when it comes to games and anime, there's still no definitive Digimon game to this day still. This video was scripted before I even knew about Storytime Stranger or before Storytime Stranger's release. So, actually there is a definitive Digimon game now, being Digimon Cyber Sleuth / Storytime Stranger, whatever. Um, but yeah, this information is outdated. But in the past, there wasn't a definitive game. Thank you. For a long time, Digimon had no idea if it wanted to bring the traditional Tamagotchi onto a bigger screen via JRPG or an action-adventure series. Due to a lack of identity, people have less of a reason to grip onto the series. The anime is in a similar box. Digimon was originally about kids transported to an alternate dimension aided by their monster companions to save both their world and the digital world. While this idea is the mainstay for the entire series, the first three series following this to a T, only adding a few extra gimmicks to further enhance the experience of the series, the later series would attempt to be more ambitious and break heavily away from this tradition. In Frontier, the kids turn into the Digimon lacking partners. In Fusion, the kids raise an army of Digimon instead of a singular companion while traversing Mario levels. And in Digimon Data Squad, they're teenagers who are also cops maintaining the peace of both the digital world and real world, with our main protagonist who doesn't wear goggles and punches Digimon? Just for clarification, I've never seen Appmon, Ghost Game, or Beat Break. But, at the time, obviously, this was not very good for the franchise because, again, it kind of lost its identity. Reason 3 why Digimon didn't catch on: lack of physicality and companionship. What does this statement mean? Let's compare Digimon to other creature collectors. More specifically, Pokemon, Bakugan, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and Beyblade. It's also worth noting during the height of each of these series' popularity, Digimon was simply more on the decline. Anyways, lack of physicality, aka lack of roleplay items. You couldn't really be a Digidestin or Digimon tamer in real life. Pokemon both in the anime and games were about catching monsters. You could do that in real life, such as with Pokemon Go. Or simply collecting Pokemon cards, you are still functionally being a Pokemon trainer. It gives that ARG feeling that people fantasize about with the Pokemon franchise. Yu-Gi-Oh!, Bakugan, and Beyblade are all in the same field, giving an ARG feeling that people wanted. Beyblades and Bakugans were physical items you could place down in the real world and do battle with that were connected to the show/games. Yu-Gi-Oh!, Bakugan, and Pokemon having TCGs on top of that.
But Digimon does have a TCG.
Yeah, but nobody knew how to play it despite there being a whole anime that endorsed it. All this kind of extends into companionship. While Digimon was, yes, about the power of friendship and whatnot, it ironically lacked the companionship to connect kids together. Most people weren't trading Digimon cards and making their Digimon fight each other, and it overall feels less attainable to be a Digimon tamer and more in reach comparatively for trainers/duelists. Reason 4. The Mighty Morphin Effect. So you know how Power Rangers, when they want to advertise something, they always go with the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and never the latest or another team of Power Rangers? Well, I mean, duh, they should, right? They're iconic. And that can be said with Digimon as well. Most of what Bandai gives out to Digimon fans is usually related to Adventure. Adventure is the most popular and most recognizable of all the Digimon series. Bandai and Toei think it's so profitable of an entry that they continuously make sequel after sequel to the original Adventure. Which is problematic. I mean, of course I love seeing Tai and Agumon go on another adventure, but when you keep marketing solely towards people with nostalgia for the original anime, eventually you're gonna run out of fans. You need to always create something new for new people to be able to understand and consume. It's okay to try to bank off nostalgia, but there's such a thing as overdoing it. Reason 5. It died in the 2010s. The 2010s were a dark era for Digimon fans. Digimon kinda fell off the earth for a while. There was at one point no new Digimon content for years, and even if it was around, it never made a loud enough noise for people to notice. It didn't exactly help that for Western fans, nothing was being translated into English, or whatever language you speak. In conclusion, Digimon could never really compete very well against Pokemon, and constantly shoots itself in the foot with the majority of tries it takes, such as its lack of uniformity and constant pandering to their original audience. While maybe Digimon now is more successful than it's ever been in the last 10 years, it probably won't be ever enough to catch the public's eye, and will for most fans like me, constantly be left in the shadow of the bigger Mon. If you enjoy these terrible slideshows, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.